That's all right.
Back and forth.
We can do that one though in May, and
Why don't you I would suggest leave that till May.
let's talk about that some more.
That would match the attorney's recommendation. We still get the $50.
Yeah, I
We
mean, we'd still
may have a
get,
bigger chunk if we do all the, you know, not all, but a bigger chunk if we're going to tackle this lot size
The other
ordinance
thing
thing.
Right.
is
Do
that
in
the
May,
way
too.
it's all set up and running now is the fees for subdivisions and shoreline get processed through the planning board. You know, they cut Jen a check and Town of Lebanon, and she keeps it in the records of all our fee schedules. In the subdivision, it's a progressive thing, Mandy. You get a little bit of money up front, you work through it a ways, you get another slug, a little bit more money, and then when you get all the way to the end, you collect a full process final lot fee. It's substantial, but
Yeah, I've been through the process myself.
yeah. Now, we didn't have that until a couple of years ago. All the other towns have had it for 40 years.
Okay.
That last one, we were shortchanging the town by thousands of, when I say we, I don't mean the board was erring, I mean the
right,
ordinances
of course.
were shortchanging the town by thousands of dollars on every subdivision
I believe it.
compared to all the surrounding towns.
Right.
So not only were we being ultra liberal, we weren't even collecting the money.
Right.
Or ultra conservative, I don't know what you call it.
I don't mean to
Permissive.
keep tick-tocking on you.
Permissive.
I have to kind of keep going on one side or the other of Paul.
So we're to 4 now then. So far, the only one we're putting is referendum 1. Just making sure I follow. You want me to read it? Shall the town of Lebanon vote to amend the building code ordinance, section 3, which currently specifies fees to read. This application will be accompanied by a fee as outlined in the schedule of license, permit, and application fees established by the Board of Selectmen, which shall not exceed the town's reasonable cost of administering and enforcing this ordinance. Basically,
Oh, you're down, I'm sorry. I heard the word building.
The last few lines of all of these are the same because it's for the purpose of a fee schedule, with the exception of the dog ordinance, because the dog, we're not removing a fee, because licensing is not what we're talking about here. Licensing is set in state law. It's $6 neutered, $11 not neutered. That will never change until the state says so. The dog ordinance, we're talking about amending the fine for dogs that are roaming and running at large, which again, I'm not changing any amounts. I'm simply pulling them out and putting them in a fee schedule. But that's why that one reads differently, because it says, you know, currently specifies fines. And I have all the actual amendments, which have the current ordinance, then the strike through and the underline of what we're replacing. That's not here because that's not going to go on the ballot, but it will come to the public hearing.
Let's just take these things one at a time. We need to get out of here tonight sometime.
Well, I read 4.
My crock pot has 20 more minutes, Mandy.
This is the only way you're going to achieve it. Currently, I don't like the wording of which currently specifies a fees, but I mean, I can't think of anything better, so go with it. The only thing I would suggest, and I know this isn't the final, but if we can bold print each ordinance that's being changed. You know, sections A, B, section 7, 8, whatever it is, section 5. Thanks, Gary.
Like building code section 3.
Yeah.
You may have your seat there, Mr. Neto. Thank you.
That way, that'll define them. Help define them. Once they were all in.
Because they really all say the same thing, so you can get lost in that if you don't. Okay. Now, after referendum 10, cause these all say
Yep.
the same thing.
Stuck to 11.
11 is shall the town of Lebanon vote to, no, she didn't write that right. Shall the town of Lebanon, no. Shall an ordinance entitled Lebanon Events and Outdoor Festivals be enacted? That's how that needs to.
Shall the town of Lebanon enact an ordinance entitled.
Right.
Yeah, that's not
Well,
right.
should be an act, not enacted. Ben had it right.
No, it's shall an ordinance entitled this be enacted. That's how it should be.
You're gonna take out the town of Lebanon?
Yes. You're gonna remove the town of Lebanon vote to enact. That's not right. It should be shall an ordinance entitled Lebanon Events and Outdoor Festivals be enacted. That's how MMA told me to write it.
Which we've already gone over.
And now 12 through 15, these are Mike's. So mine was just removing the fees. So Mike wanted to add a section for electrical permits. He said that he was concerned with some of the wiring that he was seeing, and so we came up with how we would just add a section to the building code ordinance
Thank
that
you,
would
folks.
read,
Thank you, Gary.
by
Gary.
Bye.
a permit is required for any and all electrical work on a new or existing dwelling. All wires and equipment in the interior of all buildings which are intended for transmission of electricity to be conducted with an outside circuit shall be made and at all times kept safe and shall be placed, arranged, attached, changed, and maintained to the specifications of the code enforcement officer. When any building is newly wired for the purpose of electric lighting, heating, or power, or whenever change is made in the location or position of wires or electrical equipment in any building, for any electrical current shall be turned on such building, wires and outlets shall be inspected by the code enforcement officer. No person shall turn on any current upon such wires, and no person shall use the wires for such purpose until such approval has been obtained. That's exhausting.
I'm good with it.
It's
I'm still
just,
stuck on section 4, referendum 4. What's going on?
what do you mean?
What did we decide to do with it? Sorry, but in all due respect.
It just says, shall the town of Lebanon vote to amend
Yeah.
the building code ordinance, which currently specifies a fee to read this application will be accompanied by a fee as outlined in the
Four-
schedule of license.
4 through
and
10 is just
application
removing
fees.
the fee, making the fee
Right.
schedule.
They all say the same thing, they're just addressing different ordinances.
Okay, so you wanna vote on 4 through 10 all at once?
Yes, we do,
Is that what was said?
that's what.
Yeah, you
said.
have to vote on them individually to change each ordinance.
No, to put on the
No, you
ballot.
mean to put it on the ballot.
Well, we're talking about putting it on the ballot, right?
Yes, we're talking about putting it on the ballot.
You putting all this in November?
Yeah, well, that's what we're
That's what
we're
we're talking
discussing
about.
right now.
So 4 through 10 say, they all say the same thing, they're just removing fees to put it into a fee schedule.
Oops.
Any comment on 4 through 10?
Yeah, my question was, do we wanna just vote on them all at once, or we're gonna take them individually?
Well, they all say the same thing, so I
You
think
can't,
it's fair.
you mean lump them into one question?
No, he means vote
No,
to put them
I
on the
wanna
ballot.
have him answer his own.
To put them on, to put them on the ballot?
You want them on there as one question, is that what you're saying?
No. My question was, are we gonna discuss each one of those individually and decide whether we wanna put it on the ballot or not?
That's what we're doing, what we just did.
Okay, maybe I
Ben's
missed something.
tired.
No, you guys are
Maybe I
on
missed something
different
there.
pages.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ben's
we're
tired.
definitely, yeah.
Are we okay to put referendums 4 through 10 as written on the ballot in November? Can I get a vote?
I'm good with it. I said that 15 minutes ago.
I'm good with it too.
You're
then.
good. So that's 2, they're going.
Well, you guys have talked this over more than I have.
I haven't.
This was just written today.
Right?
Alright, so we're gonna keep all those?
Whew. So far, anyway. So referendum 11 was shall an ordinance entitled Lebanon Events and Outdoor Festivals be enacted? Everyone's okay to put that on the ballot?
I am.
I wouldn't.
That's the one we spent half an hour going through
Like
4:15
5
this
hours,
afternoon.
yeah. Well, plus before.
But I mean, we just did it tonight for half an hour. Why no?
The
That's
less
that.
you have on the ballot, the
That's
better
the
off you
events
are,
and
the better your chances of passing it. And that's,
Well, you can't pass it if it's not on the ballot, Paul.
I'm talking about the other stuff. Somewheres, some of the stuff isn't going through.
Of course. You know what? You're not going to win everything, but we do have to. I mean, we don't have to, but we should put it.
This
to
should be
people.
done a few every election. I know, we lost the comprehensive plan years ago because they had too much.
Comprehensive plan was just on the ballot again.
No. The real comprehensive plan, the good one.
Yeah, and every time they bring it up now, it's just a no vote
Yeah.
for anything that's.
That's how it happened.
Well, I think a huge part of this, and I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over, you really need to talk to your people.
Voter
You need to
education.
get them out. And it's not, you know what, we might not win this battle, but we've got to keep getting it out and getting it out and getting it out, and eventually we will start breaking ground.
Well, I'm yes for putting it on the ballot.
Well, that's two. Moving on.
That's all you need.
So this was Mike's electrical permit was referendum 12. I just read it. It's really long. Please don't make me read it. Please don't make me read it again. This is because, for the sake of just really doing electrical inspections when he does his regular building inspections.
Well, there's a person that replaces one little light switch in their home that's been doing it for the last 40 years, need to go to see the building inspector to get a permit to do that.
I think Mike would be able to answer
The way
that,
this
but
is written, it's saying that you can't do it without a permit.
it
It's not being, it's
it
gotta be
doesn't
broken
specify
down
a
more.
fee for such permit. I think Mike's intent was just to make sure that, people don't set their houses on fire.
Why don't you just say no
Oh, I'm
until
sure
Mike
it
can
is,
answer you?
But the thing is, can a person do a
Yeah, but
replacement, a
is
qualified person, a homeowner do their own replacement like they do now all over the place?
I
Is-
don't,
is
that's,
Mike
I really
talking
don't know, that's
about-
Mike.
Is Mike talking about a new property or what's there now?
Both.
He's talking
The way
about
it's written.
both.
Is
The
both.
question comes down to what really comes down to though is again, like I've said before, our job is to. Your vote's not here per se. Our vote is when we pull the curtain behind us, just like everybody else. Our vote right now is: do we want to put this before the people to vote? This is something that if we disagree with it, you disagree with it. Vote against it. At that point in time, but. The question is, do we want to put it on the ballot in front of the people?
The way it's written, I disagree with it.
I disagree with this.
What's
Yeah.
written, yeah.
You
I do too.
change the fuse and,
I do too. I mean,
Okay.
okay, so I'd vote against it myself personally
When you went in the booth.
when I went in the booth. The question is before us: do we want to put this on the ballot before the people? And what flaws are there that the people shouldn't vote on?
Well,
where does
at
this
very-
conflict? Where does this conflict?
At very least, it's going to open a conversation, and perhaps we could fix it going forward. If we don't open that line of communication, we're not going to know what they want.
Well, we could be stuck with a
You're
mess
a
where
dreamer.
we're being sued every time we turn around.
Can't be sued if the people vote for it.
No, yeah, they have to vote for it. They have to vote for it.
How would you be sued if the people of Lebanon voted for something?
And yeah, they have to vote for it. I mean, and if they vote it down, that's their choice.
Correct.
You're not voting if you agree with that. Mike put that on there as your code enforcement officer. You're just voting to let it go forward to the voter, not whether or not you think it's right.
I'll make up my own mind about what I'm gonna
I'm
vote
just-
on, what I'm not, how
I'm
I
just
do
making
things.
a
That's my
statement.
privilege, and I didn't ask for a statement.
I
you
didn't
very
ask
much.
for permission to make the statement from you either.
Right.
So Mike's electrical permits are not going on the ballot. Is that what we have decided?
I say put it on.
Say no.
No,
There you go.
Shall the town of Lebanon vote to amend the building code ordinance, section 5, the rest of these are Mike's, to read, non-bearing partitions, studs in non-bearing partitions shall not be spaced more than 16 inches on center. This applies to interior walls only. The only amendment Mike is making here is previously, everywhere else in the ordinance, it says 24 inches on center. I'm sorry, everywhere else in the ordinance it says 16 inches on center, except for this particular line says 24 inches on center. He's saying that to be in compliance with the rest of the ordinance, everything should be 16 inches on center. And that's in compliance with other building standards everywhere as well.
yeah, but when they apply for a building permit, isn't that on the building permit?
Yes, we are amending this part of the building permit.
I would suggest that the wording should be, shall the town of Lebanon vote to amend the building code ordinance section 5 to read, non-bearing partitions, studs in interior non-bearing wall partitions shall not be spaced more than 16 inches on center, question mark. Lose the this applies to interior walls only, because you just, that way fix it.
Okay, I just took the verbiage that, straight from the ordinance, so we'll get rid of that. Studs on interior, see, okay, that's fine.
I mean,
I'll
if
just
you wanna
redo
have
my
that,
amendment, that's okay.
to me, that's a little wordy, but if we wanna have all
On
the words.
non-bearing interior partitions, is that what you said?
Studs, in interior non-bearing wall partitions.
Okay.
If that's what we wanna hit all those terminologies, then that's a good way to do it.
I'll have to change my actual amendment, but I can do that, it's just a couple words. And like he said to me today, everything else is 16 inches on center, everywhere else is 16 inches on center. He has no idea how or why the 24 inches got in just this one line in the ordinance. He said that it's not, I mean, he spoke to me, if you've got an interior wall and you want to hang anything or you want to change something, your space for 24 inches, you're going to not be able to find a stud when you need one. And that could, see his technicalities, I don't know. He talked about the way that the boards,
He should
Well,
be in here on this.
unfortunately,
tonight.
he has a meeting like
Well,
such.
he has a meeting
in
in another
Milton.
town tonight, yes, we know that.
But,
Well, maybe we should be discussing the rest of this at another time.
I really need this.
That being the case, he doesn't really have a chance to defend himself on this.
She's gonna put the
Alright,
ballot to
fine.
print.
Right.
You can't keep waiting.
Well,
We don't wanna
hey,
do this again next time around though, cause it is kinda late, we should be doing this sooner than this.
Absolutely,
That's
way
right.
sooner.
But, this is,
But should we just pass everything through just because we're running late?
Well, the
That's
town
another
is,
question.
that's a different issue altogether. So, I mean, he asked me to place these on here and we went over them today. He spent a lot of time with me today, so,
so I say the interior wall should go on.
if
What do you
we've
guys
got
say?
a second.
Yeah, I wouldn't, I would do that anyway.
Okay,
Okay, shall the town of Lebanon vote to amend the building code ordinance section 3 to read, a building permit shall become void upon completion of work for which the permit was issued 1 year from the date of issue. An extension permit may be granted. Currently, the ordinance reads 2 years from the date of issue.
I'm a yes. That's his explanation is 2 years is too long to track.
Mm-hmm.
And if
No.
they start later,
It's
they
just
wanna
too
come
long.
in and check
It
in with
used
us,
to be a
we'll
year.
give them an extension.
It used to be a year and somehow got changed to 2, which is crazy.
He said he has no, issues with an extension, but to be kept up to date is just.
Sure.
keep it.
Shall the town of Lebanon vote to amend the mass gathering ordinance, section 1, subsection A, to read, a written application for permit shall be received by the selectmen at least 30 days in advance of the proposed mass gathering. That's gonna align with our events ordinance that we put on the ballot. And it's gonna make, like I said, Mike's life easier in there, not to drop everything because he just got something in the events in 4 days and counting.
Yep, I'm for it.
I'm for it.
Okay, so we have
1 no.
12 questions. Are you done with me? Peace.
Are you done with us?
Oh, I'm done.
All right.
So done. Mandy.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Mandy, you should go home.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice night. And thank you.
Paul, isn't your son an electrician or your nephew or something an electrician?
What?
Isn't your nephew or somebody like that an electrician? I thought I remembered that.
You wanted to hire him.
Yeah, I remember
I
that.
said, no, that's my nephew.
This is a warrant because we had an employee not get paid, the direct deposit bounced back.
Yeah,
So a separate check was cut and handed over to them, which is the cleanest, quickest way to get them paid. So this is a warrant that just needs to be signed. Abatement, application for abatement on, I hate that how they do that. Okay, on the Upper Crossroad property. Any discussion on that? Burnt place, Dot Brown.
oh, that place we went on a Saturday afternoon?
He's looking for an abatement of $45,000 for each year. We changed the value, as long as it's being torn down, and it's supposed to be taken care of this year. Remember we changed the value, you wanted to put it down to $5,000, you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, that little place.
Yep.
That burned.
So now, because currently, we had in the past made it $50,000, because she couldn't prove what the value was still on it, you know, insurance wise, there was no insurance involved. So, she's at now asking, because we lowered it to 5 with the mandate that it's gone, you know, this year, torn down this year before April 1st. Now she's asking for a $45,000 abatement for last year and $45,000 for the year before, 2013.
2 years?
2 years.
No, we
Because
already.
she can only go back that far
45,000, that's value.
in value. Yeah, that would come up to $670.50 for 2014, $652.50 for 2013. I'm a no. I don't know what you guys want to do.
No, I'll go with that.
No, I agree with you, Phil.
The opinion of the assessors was the $50,000 at the time. It was in line with other properties. We felt at the time. That was the decision of the assessors at the time.
Right.
So. We'll talk about what you got there.
Me too.
Okay, that goes with this. I need to go in executive session to discuss personnel issue.
Okay.
So we'll make that motion.